All right, and we are streaming live on Twitter. I am joined by my esteemed colleague, Mr. Sean McLaughlin.
Oh man, when you call me esteemed, I took a shower today just because you call me esteemed, and I want to look the part online.
Dude, that hair's really going. That's really something there you got
You know,
going
somebody
on.
told me at my trader meetup the other day, said, "Oh, you really got a Jesus thing going."
Dude, if you rock some Jerusalem cruisers or something like that in your next trader meetup. By the way, were there a lot of people there? Was it good?
Yeah, we had like 15 people, which is okay. But there was I sent you a text during the thing. There was a JC Parets super fan there, so I knew you'd appreciate
Sounds
that.
like a great guy.
He had no idea I worked with you. He was just like, somehow you came up in conversation. He brought you up in conversation, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I work with JC." And he's like, "What?" It's like his head exploded.
So hold on, was this in Denver or Boulder?
It was in Denver.
And then how often do you do these?
We do them once a month in Denver and once a month in Boulder. So
And
basically,
you're the guy. Do you organize both?
I'm the guy.
And then how many do you get together with the CMT Association ever, or is that only when I'm around?
Only when you're around.
Dude, you should hook up with them. They have a nice community out there.
I know that. I mean, I'm stretching the truth a little bit. I have attended some of their meetings in the past when you weren't around, but
You gotta do collabos.
well, I don't think they've
That's how the
restarted.
kids talk.
I don't
Collabos.
think they've restarted since the pandemic ended. I'm not sure.
Oh, fair. All right. So here's what we're doing. So Wednesday, Sean puts out the trade of the week. And what I really like about Sean is great. The trade is put on fantastic, but I really like to walk through his thought process. Like, why on God's green earth are we putting on a September, January 35 call calendar spread? What the hell is a call calendar spread? Why are we choosing this particular strategy for the name? I like to stay in my own lane. I'm a technical analysis guy, but I want to know how you're thinking through this, right? Does that right? Can we do
Sure.
that?
Well, first off, let's start with the very beginning, and that is we're bullish, right?
Yeah.
The team put out a piece detecting some unusual call activity in the follow the flow report. And that coupled with the technical analysis research we're doing, it looks like this stock is setting up for a good run. Is the run going to happen? We don't know. We don't have a crystal ball, but all the ingredients are in place. The forecast looks good. And in simple terms, it would be nice to just go out and buy the January calls. And I chose January because the research team had a 4 to 6 month outlook on when the breakout should play out up to the price target. I believe the price target you guys had was as high as 59. Maybe it was 52. I forget, but it's
$52. Yup, $52. That's the extension level from the high to the low about 13 years ago.
Okay. And so
it's 13, 14 year base, right? So you take that, and then we take it 161.8% of that, and that's the next target. And then just so you know, on the follow the flow report, just a ton of bullish flow. Huge contracts on the 34, August 34 on the offer, 1,900 plus contracts. So for us in the follow the flow, it's less about the semantics of what strike, and we just want to know those big splashes in that name, and we create a universe, and then we scan them and go hand select the best opportunities from there. And AEO, if we're above those highs from before the financial crisis, gotta be long, Shawnee baby.
Right. And the thinking here is that all this options flow that's coming in might be the catalyst to get this thing moving. And if it does move, then between now and we're thinking around the end of January, that upper price target around $52 could get hit. Now, why did I choose a calendar spread as opposed to just buying calls? Well, for those of you who follow our free email that we put out a couple times a week, I've mentioned this week and last week how, hey, we're in August. Things are a little slow. Things really aren't moving all that much. So my preference right now on new trades that I put on is I want to get paid to play. All right. I want to collect theta because I don't know when these moves are going to happen, if they happen at all. So if I could put myself in a position where I could at least get paid a little bit if nothing happens, I like that. And with a calendar spread, you can do that. So yeah, I wanted to be long the January 35 calls, but I can sell these September 35 calls against it to lower my net cost. And that now makes that a positive theta play that is if AEO just kind of stays in a range for the next couple of weeks, those short September calls are going to start decaying away. The value of my position is going to increase, and that's great. Now, the piece that we published, JC, actually takes it a much larger step further than that. I'm not just hoping this thing's going to sit and stand still, but if it does, fine, we'll get paid. But if AEO does start to break out, which we think it will, as it starts going up, it starts trading up to 36, 37, 38. My plan is I'm going to keep rolling out those short calls, roll them out to the next expiration series, roll them up a strike or two, wherever I can do it for a credit, and keep bringing in credits as often as I can to lower my cost. And look, if this thing really goes, eventually we'll roll those short calls all the way into January. And at that point, we'll be looking at holding the long January 35 calls that we started with, and then maybe being short some January, 40 calls, 45 calls, at which point it's basically just a vertical spread at that point, a vertical spread that we probably paid next to nothing for, maybe even a small credit at that point, depending on how many rolls we had. Now, this is a lot of stuff, JC. I would strongly encourage anyone who's interested in this to go to the blog post that we have. We could put a link to it in the Twitter stream there, because it's free. Anyone can read it, and I go more into detail how we'll handle those rolls as we go forward. But the point is, JC, we're long. We want to be long. I'm just not super excited that it's going to have a huge breakout right away. So let's get paid along the way. That's why we're doing a calendar spread.
Yeah, and that's really what it comes down to. So why this particular strategy? Because we're bullish, but not necessarily it's going to rip tomorrow and go flying, so we could get a little cha-cha in between, right?
That's right. I mean, what were we talking about before? That base was like an 18-year base that we're finally breaking out of? An 18-year base doesn't just end in 1 week.
Easy, Tiger. It's more like 13 or 14 years, but yes, point taken. So American Eagle Outfitters, AEO, bullish the stock. The September-January 35 call calendar spread, approximately $2.10 debit. We're going short the September 35 calls, long the January 35 calls. And my friends, I am JC Parets of All-Star Charts, and that was my boy, Sean McLaughlin. And he likes the Gators and the Bills, and I like the Dolphins and the Canes, so we argue a lot.
I don't even know how we're friends. It's crazy.
You have terrible taste in sports teams. Great taste in technical analysis, though. I'll give you that.
Fair enough. As long as my teams keep beating your teams, then it's all good. You can.
Oh, easy. All right, we'll take this offline. Later, folks.